This season, prepare for every season with the Allbirds Mizzle Collection. These shoes were made for adventures in rain, shine, mist, or snow. Go to allbirds.com and use code FRESHSOCKS for a free pair of socks with purchase.
On today's Smart 7, more rows over marbles, Israel extends the truce by one more day, and lots more. It's Thursday 30th of November, it's St Andrew's Day, and happy birthday Ridley Scott.
The Smart 7, it's news, but not the news.
Prime Minister Rishi Sunak continued his public row with the Greek Prime Minister on Wednesday. He accused Kyriakos Mitsotakis of breaking an agreement not to discuss the topic of the Parthenon marbles, which currently reside in the British Museum. It is highly unusual for a Prime Minister to start a public row with a fellow NATO member and a key ally when it comes to stopping the flow of migrants into Europe. Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer was quick to land a number of blows over the row during Prime Minister's question time.
In an effort to hide from his failures, the Prime Minister spent this week arguing about an ancient relic that only a tiny minority of the British public have any interest in. Mr. Speaker, that's enough about the Tory party.
Starmer also proposed Rishi has developed what he called a reverse Midas touch, in which everything he touches turns to failure. Rishi wasn't backing down, though, angrily defending his decision to publicly cancel the meeting.
Of course, we're always happy to discuss important topics of substance with our allies, but when it was clear that the purpose of a meeting was not to discuss substantive issues for the future, but rather to grandstand, it wasn't appropriate.
There were more senior government figures in front of the COVID inquiry on Wednesday, including former Deputy PM Dominic Raab. Raab defended former advisor to Boris, Dominic Cummings, denying that he was a puppet master or that he had contributed to the chaotic atmosphere at Downing Street. Former Health Secretary Sajid Javid testified that then-Chancellor Rishi Sunak was among those pushing hard for the lockdown to be lifted. He described a meeting in which then Prime Minister Boris Johnson demanded that all the malingering and work-shy people were made to return to work. Javid said at times he was shocked by how Downing Street operated.
I can't speak to other government. I think the extent of dysfunctionality was something I had not experienced before in any government.
The inquiry also heard from Professor Dame Jenny Harries, who was asked about emails she wrote in March 2020, warning that COVID patients might have to be discharged into care homes.
This sounds awful. This is taking a very, very high-level view that says if we have this enormous explosion of cases, there will have to be a national triage. And I think what I was trying to do was explain to us what the size of the problem might be.
There was devastating news for the Biebers family on Wednesday. They'd been hoping that 3 members of the family, their 10-month-old son, his 4-year-old brother and their mother, might soon be released by Hamas as part of the hostage exchange. Instead, Hamas reported that the 3 had been killed in an Israeli airstrike, although there's no way to verify their statement. The release of hostages did continue, with 16 more freed, including 2 with Russian citizenship. In Qatar, agreement was reached to extend the ceasefire by one more day, while talks continue. Israel says that the hostages who have been released so far say that they were treated poorly while in captivity. Eilon Levy, Israeli spokesman, says that Hamas continue to use video footage to spread their message of terror.
The hostages were not held in reasonable conditions. Our children were serially abused. It continues to document its own atrocities, releasing footage of crowds terrorizing the hostages in their final moments of captivity. Those scenes bringing to mind that scene from Game of Thrones.
The House of Commons Select Committees were busy on Wednesday. First, the Home Affairs Committee heard from senior figures in the Home Office that representatives are currently in Rwanda, finalising a new immigration deal after the Supreme Court blocked the previous one. They also heard that 17,000 people have withdrawn asylum claims and the Home Office doesn't know where those people are. Things didn't go much more smoothly at the Treasury Committee, where Chancellor Jeremy Hunt was busy defending his autumn statement and trying to put a positive spin on record NHS waiting lists and the highest taxes since World War II.
I think voters are very realistic about the fact that we have been through a global shock with the pandemic and a global shock with the energy crisis, and they want to see improvements in public services. But absolutely, I want to see standards in public services going up.
Still to come on today's Smart 7, more Man United chaos and Timothy Chalamet talks chocolate. right after this.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds, owner and user of Mint Mobile. And I am recording this message on my phone. I'm literally on my Mint phone. Why? Because fancy recording studios cost money. And if we spent money on things like that, we couldn't offer you screaming deals. Like if you sign up now for 3 months, you get 3 months free on every one of your plans, even unlimited. Visit mintmobile.com/switch.
Limited time new customer offer. Activate within 45 days. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. Unlimited customers using more than 40 gigabytes per month will experience lower speeds. Video streams at 480p. See mintmobile.com for details.
Welcome back.
Wednesday night saw more Champions League action with Manchester United in Turkey and Arsenal entertaining French side Lens. United faced Galatasaray in an early kick-off and things went well at first, with Erik ten Hag's side taking a 2-goal lead. However, goalkeeper errors let the Turkish side back into the game and it finished 3-3, leaving United almost certainly out of this season's Champions League. Arsenal fared better against the French, hammering them 6-0 to top their group. Mikel Arteta was pleased at how his team dominated the game.
Absolutely. Today was the day to get it done. We have the chance to qualify, to be top of the group, and I think we've done it in a beautiful way.
If you were planning to reboot one of the most loved children's characters for a third time, you'd want a safe pair of hands at the wheel. That's probably why Paul King, director of Paddington, was selected to direct the Willy Wonka prequel, which is just called Wonka. It's a musical version tracing the origin of the famous chocolate factory owner, and there was plenty of pressure on the shoulders of star Timothée Chalamet as he had to fill the pointy boots of Johnny Depp and Gene Wilder, but he says he's very happy with how it turned out.
People are very protective over characters they love, particularly Willy Wonka. They don't want to see people mess it up, but we were in great hands with Paul King. And it's not the story of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, it's a different story. It's the story of how Willy Wonka became Willy Wonka. And I think we did a great job.
There's a powerful new movie on the way which tells the story of a man struggling with early onset dementia. Jessica Chastain plays Sylvia, a social worker and single mother who is followed home one night by a man from her high school reunion. Peter Sarsgaard plays Saul, who seeks out Sylvia's help as he suffers memory loss and confusion. His portrayal of the role won high praise at the Venice Film Festival, which also nominated the movie for a Golden Lion. It's called Memory, and it hits cinemas in January 2024.
My uncle talks about you a lot. My dad and I were maybe thinking you could care for him during the day. All you'd have to do is be there and go on walks and stuff. Why did you follow me home from the party? Or do you only remember when it's convenient?
I don't remember.
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day.
Give us 7 minutes and we'll give you the world.
Israel is 5,690 miles away from the U.S., 11 hours by plane. Hate travels faster. In a comment, in a post, in a second. Jewish hate is up 388% in the U.S. Black hate, Muslim hate, and Asian hate are up too. When one hate rises, they all do. Let's stand up to all hate together. Share and wear the blue square from standuptojewishhate.org.